Who is profiting from the US-Iran war? Any war is a massive transfer of wealth. So by the end of this war, somebody is going to be insanely rich and somebody is going to get insanely poor. So let's take a look at who is massively making trillions of dollars out of this war. The first winner of this war is Iran itself. And this might seem very controversial because Iran's economy has been suffering over the last couple of decades. The United States has imposed sanctions on Iran a few decades ago, and since then their economies has been going down. Their currencies has almost collapsed. And if Iran was left the way it is, that economy would probably be in a very dire situation. But here's one thing you have to understand about Iran. Almost a third of the entire government's budget comes directly from selling oil. So if you're making money primarily by selling oil, and now this war has led to an increase in the price of oil, the question comes back to you. What do you think is now happening to the budget of the Iranian government? It shot to the roof. It at least has doubled because oil prices have increased by at least 100%. And according to Iran, we are going to see $200 per barrel of oil prices. That means that probably in a couple of months from now, if this war persists, the Iranian government will quadruple its revenue. So this is a perfect war for them. On one side, they're fighting for their country. On the other side, they will be making trillions of dollars by selling their oil. Now, secondly, because Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz and Iran only lets its oil to pass that strait to China, for example, that means that the demand for the Iranian oil is going to increase. So many nations that used to buy, for example, oil from Saudi Arabia and the UAE or Qatar will now be buying actually from Iran, which means that it is going to boost their energy and revenue sources. Iran could also put a toll on the Strait of Hormuz, that if you want your ships to successfully pass through the Strait of Hormuz, you can pay us a very small fee that is going to finance the war and will help us win this war. So Iran by far is going to be the biggest winner of this war. Now besides Iran, it is going to be Russia. Now, Russia is one of the largest oil producers in the world, and a quarter of the government's budget comes directly from selling oil to the rest of the world. But Russian oil has been sold under market price because it has been sold in the black market since the United States has sanctioned Russian oil. But now the world needs Russian oil. What do you think Japan is going to do, that is a close ally of the United States and was relying for Middle Eastern oil for 95% of their energy? They gotta get that oil from somewhere. The US is at full capacity, so it cannot possibly supply Japan with oil. That is why the United States is looking at the possibility of lifting sanctions from Russia so that the rest of the world can buy oil from Russia, replacing the Middle Eastern oil. So countries such as South Korea and European countries will be probably buying a lot of oil from Russia, and rising oil prices will only benefit them. That's why Russia wants this war to prolong for as long as possible. The longer this war continues, the more oil prices rise, the more the Russian government is going to profit from this war. The third largest beneficiary, or the winner, or the country that will make a lot of money from this war is obviously the United States itself. The United States right now is the world's largest oil producer in the world. So the more oil prices rise, the more the US refineries, the more the US oil companies will make a lot of money. So hundreds of billions of dollars will be flowing to the United States. European Union, for example, buys about 15% of its oil from Middle East. But now that oil cannot possibly go through the Strait of Hormuz, which means that European countries will be forced to buy even more oil from the United States. And now since prices have doubled, it means that they will make a lot more money. It is also going to be a war of attrition. That means that you need a lot of ammunition. So, for example, the United States has already wasted a lot of missiles on this war, and your missiles is not infinite, they're finite. So you have to start buying more missiles. You have to start buying more HIMARS missiles, more THAAD missiles, and a single missile costs like $10 or $20 million. And you need not just a few of them, you need thousands of them. The longer the war continues, the more the military industrial complex is going to make money. So they will be making like hundreds of billions of dollars. Middle Eastern countries are suffering the most. So take the United Arab Emirates that has deep pockets. Now they're being attacked by very cheap drones all across the country, and they need to defend themselves. What kind of military equipments they're going to buy? Of course, they will be buying US military equipments. Why? Because they have built their entire military infrastructure on American military, which is why hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars will be flowing to the US industrial complex. But here is the indirect winner of this war, and that is the artificial intelligence. Big tech companies in the US have spent trillions of dollars investing in AI. But there is one problem with these investments, is that this investment is not paying off yet. So for example, if you spend $1 trillion on something, but this something is not paying you off, then investors will no longer be interested in investing in that. But you still want to win the artificial intelligence race. Take an example of ChatGPT. ChatGPT doesn't make a lot of money, but it spends a lot of money. 95% of users of ChatGPT are not paid users. So the question, how do you turn them into paid users? So big tech companies want to use this war to capitalize on it, to monetize AI so that the AI bubble does not burst. The AI bubble is supposed to burst like right now or maybe a month ago. But because this war started, there will be a big winner. So whenever you are investing in anything, there is money that is coming out and then there is money that is coming out. A good business is when money that is coming out is much more than the money that is coming in. For some period of time, you can actually maintain a strategy where money keeps going on without money coming out. But that is for some period of time. At some point, you have to make a return on this investment. And if that does not happen, it turns into one giant bubble and the bubble bursts and a lot of people will start losing money. That is what happened, for example, in the 1990s, when so many businesses have spent so much money on internet companies, but nobody saw how these internet companies could make real returns in the foreseeable future. Yes, they did in the long run, but not in the short run. The same thing has happened to the housing market back in early 2000s. So AI companies need to spend at least $1 trillion to break even, and they have already spent more than $2 trillion. So we spent $2 trillion. Now we're in a bubble. These $2 trillion, we don't see a return. Now we need to spend at least $1 trillion to break even. But investors are not ready to pay that much. So the bubble is going to burst, which is going to make it a lot more difficult to invest. So here's how the war in Iran is going to help with that. First of all, government contracts. This is the first war the United States is going to fight where AI is going to be massively used. And if AI is becoming an important part of the US military, then the United States government cannot possibly let AI fail. That's why, for example, OpenAI has signed a deal with the military of war, with the Department of War. Now they know that no matter what happens, the US government will give them the money. Take Palantir, which is another major AI company. Because this war is continuing, the longer this war continues, the more money will be flowing from the US taxpayers to the deep pockets of Palantir. So Palantir could be making a lot of money even though that it's an insanely overvalued business. So maybe government contracts or this war will be the way that AI will finally be monetized because the cost will be paid by the US taxpayers. Secondly, trillions of dollars has already been borrowed to fight this war. And this war is going to make it a lot easier to pay this debt. Why? So over the last couple of years, companies such as Oracle, that at least Oracle alone has borrowed $30 to $40 billion. And you have many other tech companies that have borrowed hundreds of billions of dollars. A war means that there is going to be massive inflation and massive devaluation of the dollar. So if future dollars will worth a lot less than old dollars in the past, and you have borrowed that money in the past, that means that paying off the previous debt is going to get a lot easier. So if we have already spent $2 trillion developing AI and we borrow that money from different investors and banks and venture capital and who knows from where, now paying them is going to be a lot easier because the dollar has lost so much of its value. So that is another advantage for the AI industry and another profit for them. And finally, the cost of labor is going to plummet, which is going to make it a lot easier for these companies to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So the cost of labor in the US is extremely expensive. And for you to rationalize that, just compare that. The US GDP per capita is about $90,000, probably up to $100,000, depends on which kind of metrics you're using. The debt to GDP ratio, or the GDP per capita in China, is about $15,000. So it is very clear that the cost of labor in China is literally a fraction of the United States. But if this war is going to lead to a high inflation where the dollar will massively lose its value, the wages are going to go down. Not the number that you see or the actual wage that they're paying you, but the purchasing power of that wage. So even though that you still will be making $100,000, but that $100,000 will be able to buy you a lot less things. That means that if you're a business or you as a manufacturer that manufacture things outside the United States, now it's a lot easier to bring that manufacturing to the United States because labor, which is often the largest cost for most businesses, is going to be a lot cheaper. That means that the American people or the American middle class is going to be the biggest loser of this war. And that's why it has never been a better time to start investing, because this war is going to make you a lot poorer. That's why. The only way that you can protect yourself is what these corporations are doing. These corporations are investing in assets because they know that the dollar is massively losing its value. Now here's the question. Which assets you should be buying right now so that the longer this war continues, you will be a winner just like these big tech companies? Well, that's exactly what I just posted on the Investing Academy. You can find that using the link in the description of this video. There is a step-by-step strategy on how you can massively profit from this war.